What's going on, guys? It's Zoe with No Days Off DFS here to bring my NBA Prizepicks prop play of the day. If you guys are new here and you guys don't have a Prizepicks account, check down the link in the description below so you guys can get a deposit match bonus and create an account and get some of these plays so you guys can play these things too. And then if you want my full list of plays, also check out the Patreon. It's right there. We've been doing pretty good over the past weekend and stuff, posting plays consistently and seeing some green, mixing the match and things like that. And it's definitely been pretty good. NFL wasn't too bad yesterday. Of course, some injuries, they might have messed us up a little bit, but we still saw some green at the end of the day, and looking forward to rolling into this big 15-game slate. We have every single team is playing today. They're going to be off tomorrow, but that means that we just get to make our money today, rest up tomorrow, and then bring it back again on Wednesday. So going ahead and looking straight at the slate, there's a couple plays that I want to go over. Again, I'm not a gambling expert or financial advisor. These are just some plays that I'm on myself, so you guys can look at them and see if you want to play them as well. First play that I want to go over and look at, of course, like the board is still loading up. We're still getting injuries and stuff coming out. If the biggest thing right now that I recently just seen was that LeBron James is going to be out. So, of course, Russell Westbrook, he's going to have that increased usage and things like that. This is just straight up off the top of the dome from just looking at it. His assist prop, I really don't hate it considering that he is going to have the ball in his hand and he is going to be the engine of the offense. Once again, coming off the bench, he's looked really well coming off the bench for them and has played tremendously well over the past couple of games. Definitely someone I could definitely see going to today. But the main play that I actually want to talk about, first one, is going to be my boy Nicholas Claxton. So going over, looking at the Nets, they're going to be playing the Dallas Mavericks tonight. And biggest thing, of course, Kyrie, he's out. He's serving his suspension. TJ Warren, he still has not made his season debut. And Ben Simmons, he's going to be back. He's going to be going back to that power forward position, power forward, point guard, whichever one you want to call. I expect Ben Simmons to have a little bit more usage in this game, especially with no Kyrie. And then, of course, you have Kevin Durant. He's just the de facto Slim Reaper, does whatever the heck it is that he wants. Claxton, he's going to go back kind of that third, fourth fiddle because we even see Royce O'Neal. He's definitely been taking quite a bit of shot attempts out there. And then Thomas off the bench and things like that. They have their players off the bench. And then you have Seth Curry coming back into the rotation. I don't see Claxton really being able to put up the numbers that we've seen him do in the past two games. As you've seen going up against Charlotte, which is putrid, weak defense going up against center right now. Everyone is targeting centers going up against Charlotte. Of course, we're going to do it once again here tonight. So if you're looking at that, Porzingis, he definitely is in a prime spot to smash once again. I know he's coming off a letdown game yesterday, but today's the day to definitely attack Porzingis. But looking at Claxton, he smashed going up against Charlotte. He smashed going up against Washington. Both two great matchups that he had. Now, going up against the Dallas Mavericks, shockingly enough, Dallas is actually allowing the least amount of fantasy points to the center position. So if you were thinking about taking over on Claxton today, just due to the fact of, the missing some people and things like that, I might, tailor off on that, even though, players are being back and things like that. But just looking at that, they're only allowing 38.3 fantasy points to center position. So looking at it, it's like, okay, well, he's sitting at 30. He could definitely go over that. Let's look a little bit deeper. Going a little bit further, looking at the centers that have gone up against the Mavericks for the season. Now, some of these guys you got to keep in mind their rotation. They're coming off the bench, things like that. But the main centers who actually start, Kelly Olynyk, he only put up 20 fantasy points in the spot. Wendell Carter Jr., he put up 29.8 fantasy points, 33. And he's about kind of like the same type of center that Claxton is. But Wendell, he actually takes some of those threes like that. Claxton, he's more in there for his block up side and things like that. Same thing that Wendell can do. So I see them kind of similar. So this is kind of more of a realistic what I would expect to get in regards to it. And then Claxton, he has already actually played them on the 27th. And he only put up 14.7 fantasy points. And that was in 29 minutes. Granted, of course, Kyrie did play in this game. But still, this is kind of a eye-opening of what we can expect for him to be able to put up in this matchup. Jonas Valanciunas, a very dominant center in his own right, 26.4 fantasy points. Steven Adams, another pretty big body, dominant center, 20.3 fantasy points. DeAndre Ayton is Ayton. He dropped 35 fantasy points, but that's not the type of center that Claxton is and the things that he will actually go out there and do. Then if we look at his game logs, what he's actually done going up against Dallas throughout his career since 2019, he has not eclipsed that 30.5 fantasy point mark at all. I just think that we're getting a tremendous value on Claxton for the fact that they actually bumped him up so high to 30.5 fantasy points. I know he has the block and he has still upside, but I just don't see that happening right here in this matchup going up against Dallas. Just looking at the history and what they've done to other centers who are actually better than him, and just the fact that the usage is not going to technically be there for him to dominate in such of a matchup in a way that we would expect for anyone in this spot. So I'll definitely be taking a less on this right here for Claxton in this spot, simply just due to the stuff that we just pointed out. Another play that I want to go over and look at that I definitely have my eye on, and that's going to be This is going to be the homer in me in regards to this play. It's going to be my guy, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. SGA, he's going against Detroit. The Thunder, we've lost back-to-back games. One going up against Denver and then the other one against Milwaukee. But even going up against that Denver matchup, he actually did really well, dropped 37 points. And if you know Shai, he's going to get into the paint. He's going to get into that mid-range area, and he's just going to tear you apart. And one of the biggest things that we get to take advantage of is the fact that the Pistons, they are allowing close to 30.27 points to the point guard position, and then also 57.32 fantasy points to the guard position. Shea, he pretty much is the engine that is going to keep this team running and is going to keep them going. He's definitely going to keep them in the game. I know they have Josh Giddey and other things like that. They're still experimenting and stuff, but the main de facto for this team is going to be SGA and what he can go out there and do. Long as he's getting it going, and I don't see the Pistons actually being able to stop him. Looking at his game log, the one game that he got to play against them last year, he dropped 30 points, and he also dropped 56 fantasy points in that, getting 2 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 13 assists in that game. And also, if you do know Shea, he's definitely has stepped it up on the defensive end this year. He's averaging at least 2 steals a game. So definitely that upside for him for the fantasy points as well is there. I know his fantasy points was sitting at 46 fantasy points right now. And then if you want to use Line Star's projection in regards to what they have, looking at Line Star, they actually have him projected at 51.52 fantasy points to go over that. So definitely some value that we're getting there. But for the safety of it, I'm definitely going to be taking SGA for those the points that he has. And then if you want to look a little bit further at the prior point guards who have gone up against Detroit, Tyrese Halliburton dropped 57, Trae Young both times eclipsed at 46, Steph Curry, of course, Drew Holiday, DeJounte Murray. He's not even playing point, but he came close to doing that. So just looking at it, there's a lot of point guards who have similar usage to what SGA has and can definitely go over that. So definitely 2 plays that I would be considering in regards to that. You know, if you guys want some more plays or anything like that that you would like to look at, if you want to see my full list of plays, just check down the link in the description below for that Patreon. And I hope to see you guys in the green. Good luck.